We're gonna okay, just hit the button, close it. Can you going up? Can you squeeze one more on? Or not? Okay, go.
One, two.
Crazy Horse Foundation. I've heard of that. What is that? I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it. They're calling to tell me that they're putting in the table. We could probably hold one.
Is that what they were calling to tell you that they were putting
I'm sure, but I don't know how this is a brand new renovated building and cell phone service doesn't work in this building.
Yeah.
Because of the marble. It's all the marble and all
The
the
marble,
metal.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah, it just makes it hard for it
the density of the building.
Stop!
This is us.
Four. You go.
Put your head down and don't put it back up. Hi.
Come on, so I can get off. We're at the 5th floor.
I need mushroom.
Come on, Gabriel.
We had a hard time getting an elevator. We've been downstairs. 11 o'clock.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. How are you? Good. It's good to see you. Here we go. You like it? Can you have a clean? And I'm not trying to butter you up. Sure. Yeah, come on in, come on, everybody. They're good, they're homemade. And so, hello.
Hello.
Hey, it's good to see you again. Hey, how are you? Good. Michael Brooks. Hello, ma'am.
Chocolate chip.
Amber, nice to meet you.
Are those your favorite?
Would you like one? What do you
Yes.
say?
I'll scoot over here.
Which one's the chocolate chip?
Right on top. There you go.
Just one. Would you like one, Gabe?
Anybody?
There you go.
Adults can have
You
cookies
know,
too.
help
All
me.
for everybody.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you.
Max, do you want to sit in your walker or sit down?
You want to sit?
Yes.
Change? There you go. You got it.
Well, and so, ma'am, I apologize, but if I sit down, that monitor's just in a way that I may not be able to see.
Oh, no, you're fine.
I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring you or anything else.
No, you're fine. I can speak up if I need to.
All right, very good. Let's see. Well, all right. Now, never mind. If you kind of hold down the port up front, it'll be okay.
You want me to
Yeah,
hold the
it'll be all right.
board?
Yeah. And so, I was gonna have her take notes, but I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
And so, here,
Let me try to
I'll dance around. Come on.
got papers a little.
You
So,
got
I've got another appointment at 11:30.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
But anyway,
Okay.
so we'll see. Thank you.
Close the door.
Yeah, it'll be all right. All right. Well, so we had a chance to be able to talk on Friday, just briefly, but
Yeah.
anyway.
And just, it was, well, she wasn't expecting you, and she was she had already had some information or bad news or whatever. So she just set off a little bit. She wasn't expecting to see you, and she was just.
From Nick Sullivan
Okay.
at the Oklahoma Disability Law Center,
Yes, ma'am.
that the Senate attorney who y'all have paid, that Oklahoma taxpayers have paid,
Yes, ma'am.
have directed Senator Treat to contact OMES and put a cable in this building.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that has not been done yet.
Okay, disability, I'm trying to make notes. And
Okay.
so, but I appreciate it. Disability Law Center, he said that
In
the attorney.
November,
Okay.
yeah.
And so I'm sorry, I don't remember very fast. November last year? That, who told who what?
Nick Sullivan from the Oklahoma
Yes, ma'am.
Disability Law
Got
Center.
it.
been in contact with.
has been in contact with Sam Fulkerson.
Sam Fulkerson is the attorney for the Senate. All right, well, yes, ma'am.
I'd like you to reach out to him today.
Well, I don't know if I can reach out to him today, but I'll be happy to. So we can see, and I don't know how to go about reaching out to Mr. Fulkerson.
I
So
can get
what-
you his phone number.
I can probably get his phone number too. But anyway, but I think, and I can try and figure it out, but as far as, I've never spoken to Mr. Fulkerson, I didn't retain Mr. Fulkerson, and so, because I'm in the minority party and there
No,
are
it
other
has
people.
nothing to do with party.
Well,
This
but
has
it does,
nothing
but,
to do with party. This
well,
is
if
you
you'll
as
let
a
me, if
senator.
you'll let me finish,
Okay.
please. And so, so as a result, we don't make those calls. And so I didn't retain him. I don't have a relationship with him because the majority of party, I think, makes the decisions who's retained and how. And so that's all I wanted to be able to say. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have power to call Sam Fulkerson and ask him the questions that need to be asked? Like, have you instructed Senator Street to contact OMES to find a location for a table at the Capitol?
Well,
Is that within your power?
I don't know if it is, but I mean, so, if it might be, I mean, anybody can call him, but the question is, if there's attorney-client privilege, and whether or not he can do it, but I'm not trying to put up blocks about it, but that would be something that we might
Right.
encounter.
So you're speaking as an attorney, knowing that,
Yeah.
so if he's retained by the Senate and as a whole, does he represent everybody as a whole, or
Well,
as far, because Fulkerson has been representing the Senate for a long time, even prior to even Treat being in office, so it's an ongoing thing. Even in the last time that the state was sued, he was the Senate attorney at that time, whenever it was over the Reneker case, where there now has to be for hearing impaired people to have that process done, and that so he has a long time. So I think he's been the attorney for a long time, or that their firm has been the attorney for a long time for.
So I mean, kind of the way it works is that when it comes to like the administrative staff, the non-political staff for the Senate, right? The chief of staff, the receptionist downstairs on 3, the people who write bills and draft bills, the people who handle HR for the Senate, and all those kinds of things. Even though it's not political, the person who hires them is the pro tem of the Senate.
Right.
And so as a result, when it comes to the administrative operation of the Senate, or the administrative operation of this building, typically, and I'm not trying to make an excuse, I'm just trying to tell you the way that it is.
Right.
Our input is not solicited, and I don't know if it makes a difference, right? Because whenever they were going through the negotiations, I'm gonna sneak over here. And so, to be able to, whenever they were remodeling this building, I think that was mostly a negotiation, mostly from the pro tem staff and the speaker staff. And so it's back and forth. And so I think things are in this, not just with this building, but a lot of things can turn into power struggles between the two chambers. Back and forth, because that's all they do is they quibble, negotiate, and haggle back and forth. So anyway, and so that's the way that it was explained to me. Last time when you asked me to go talk to Greg Treat, that's the way it was explained to me. Is that
So I understand by statute that it's the legislature's job, it's even your job as the Oklahoma legislature to make sure that this building is in maintenance, unless I'm reading the statutes wrong.
if you can
Have you read it?
if you can refer me to the statute, I'm happy to read it.
Now go to the state statutes and let's pull it up.
I'm not going to do it right now. I've got another meeting here in about 20 minutes. And so yes, ma'am.
So how can we get? It seems Max is lost in a stagnant
yes, sir.
situation.
Right.
how do we break it out of that, since it should, the issue for Max has been the face of this law, but obviously it affects multiple facets of from his age all the way up to an adult, and it. So how do we get out of this stagnant pool of and get to more of a camaraderie of this? This is something that we need to do as a state, not part. It's not a party issue. It's a people issue. It's a people issue.
What can we do to help move it along?
And so the word that stuck out to me that you mentioned, camaraderie.
Yeah.
And so I think that in my 5 years of being here at the Capitol, that I have been able to get a lot more done in my experience through persuasion as opposed to confrontation.
Right.
Because you know, there are different leaders here, and when you confront some of them, they respond in a defensive way as opposed to a persuasive way to be able to say, how do we get this done? Kind of like what you're talking about. And so for better or for worse, I think that the approach for at least, I'm not sure for how long, but the approach that's gone on with Max's Law for the past couple of years has been fairly confrontational.
How many wheelies do you have up on that shelf?
I'm not sure.
One,
One.
I spent 2 years running around this Capitol being
Yes,
real
ma'am.
nice, writing letters,
Yeah.
sending emails and postcards,
Yes, ma'am.
and y'all didn't get any letters or wheelies or postcards last year, because I shouldn't have to run around. It is a federal right for him and her to have restroom access in this building.
I understand. And so I'm just telling you,
And if you can't be nice and say, hey,
right.
I've tried,
Yes, ma'am.
I've
And so-
tried.
And
And
so,
I've asked for people to hold those accountable. Senator Rosino killing that bill as he is the Health Committee Chair.
yes,
People are on the floor in our restrooms during COVID,
right. And
and they're
so,
changing out in the parking lots.
I am not Senator
In a
Rosino,
building.
I'm not on the committee, and
Okay.
I didn't fill the bill. And so the thing is, I'm not trying to shift blame, but I understand your frustration, and I understand your advocacy and how strongly you believe in this issue. And so I'm sensitive to that,
You know,
But-
right before I came in here,
okay? You interrupted me again, but go ahead. No, go ahead. And so, I'm trying not to interrupt you, I want to speak respectfully back and forth. But at this point, there are, in my opinion, productive strategies and strategies that are unproductive. I understand that after 2 years of doing this, being nice and everything else, you get frustrated. Trust me, I've been up here for 5 years, and there's several things I've been trying to get done that, you know, haven't gotten done in 2 years, or, you know, and so as a result, does Max and everybody else in this situation should have the right to be able to do this? I think there are a lot of people who agree. Is at this point, have things become embittered, and is that productive or not? I don't think it is. And I tell you that out of friendship and out of respect.
we're not
because-
friends. You're
Okay,
my
well-
senator.
All right, well then I tell you that out of mutual, or not even mutual respect. I tell you that out of respect for what you've done and what you've worked to do. And so I understand it's hard to be able to put on a smiley face and trying to be able to do it. That's my approach, okay? And if you don't like my approach, I completely understand.
There's no smiles whenever there's okay,
Right.
6 weeks ago, I had Miss Wheelchair Oklahoma in this building.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, she handed her crown over to me after an armed highway patrolman directed her to the floor in the bathroom after 2 years of temporary accommodations being in this building.
Okay.
Because they couldn't find the
They
key.
couldn't find the key.
Okay, well, and so, no.
How would you feel if you directed your daughter and you to the floor in the restroom down
I would
there?
not be happy.
How would you feel if your
Right,
daughter
right.
had to ask an armed highway patrolman for a key for her restroom access in this building?
I would probably be very much in the same in the
It
same
can happen.
position where you are.
So he,
And
what
I'm
he,
asking you to hold them accountable. for
Okay,
that.
and
It is
so,
a federal right. Right before I came in here, I've got Mark McLean Mullins, legislative assistant, looking at the federal building in Washington DC,
sure,
and a phone call from the Crazy Horse Foundation on the table.
okay, all right,
How long is this an embarrassment to Oklahoma?
I agree. And so, but,
And
At
you're
this
not
point-
willing to hold anybody accountable or take the conversation up the chain and say, hey, If our attorneys that represent the Senate have instructed Senator Greg Treat in November to find a place and put a table in this building and he refuses to do that,
Right.
you do have power as a senator to bring that conversation forward. And
Okay.
you refusing to do that has me and not, because you represent us.
Yes. And so last year you asked me to be able to go and tell him that if he didn't do this, that you plan to sue him.
I'm trying, I spent 4 hours on the phone with attorneys,
Okay,
five
you're
different law
asking me again.
firms.
I carried that message to him just the way that you asked. And so his response was, sue me.
Right, I shouldn't
And so
have to sue
what's-
him.
Well, but if you're gonna change your position,
I'm trying to sue him.
okay, and so I understand, and I think it's appropriate, okay? But at this point, for me, I am at a loss how, I'm happy to go and talk to him, I'm happy to be able to do other things, but I'm not sure how you suggest that I can hold him accountable. I mean, I can't sanction him, I
You
can't
can't
do.
bring it to before the Senate and
No.
say, and you can't bring it
No,
before
because
your caucus even?
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you now. And so no, my caucus is 8 people, and so I can bring it before my caucus, absolutely. Do I control what happens on the floor? I do not. Do I control what gets on the agenda? I do not. Okay? And so as a result, if you want me to hold someone accountable, am I willing to be able to go and have a meeting with him? By all means. And as your senator, the times that you've asked me to do things, I've done them. You asked me to be the House author the first time you were in the bill. I'm the House author, I apologize, Senate author. I did it. And so this last time you asked me, I want you to go, make an appointment, go speak to the pro tem in his office and tell him I'm ready to sue him. If he
That's
doesn't
not
fix
what I
this.
said. That is not what I asked
Okay,
you
I don't mean
do.
to mischaracterize it, go ahead.
I asked you to go speak with him, I shouldn't have to sue him.
Oh, no, you told me that you were ready to sue him.
I have been ready to sue him. Attorneys have been
Okay.
involved, Senator Brooks.
Yes, ma'am, and so
They have been involved for 2 years.
good. And so when you came and asked me to do that, I went and I conveyed the message as you had instructed me. And then whenever I got the response back, I brought it back to you. And so then, there we were.
I would like you to bring to your caucus that Senator Greg Treat has been instructed to put a table in this building by his own counsel.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so, all right, so you want
Can
me
you
to?
give him
I-
that
I will talk
email,
to,
or can you, I don't know if that,
I'll talk to Nick and
Need
have
to
him
see
forward on the email
or-
himself.
okay.
that's fine. And so you want me to talk to the Democratic caucus and explain to them that this has been done, right? That he's been instructed by Mr. Fulkerson to put a table in.
Should I send you all an email?
Sure, if you wanna forward it to me, that's fine. I'm happy to do
Start
that.
the whole conversation
so-
with the whole Democratic caucus today,
No, we caucus on Mondays.
okay.
but I could start an email with among you all, correct?
You
And loop in
can.
my attorney?
Okay, and so I can put it on the agenda, so when we caucus, it's kind of a private meeting between the 8 of us. And and normally we discuss issues. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
okay.
got enough cookies, you want
All
another
right.
cookie, and
I don't blame you, I love the cookies too. And but yeah, I'm happy to put it on the agenda, talk to everybody in my caucus to be able to see what I can do. Or to see if there's something more that if we collect as 8, that perhaps we can do. Yeah, I will do it.
So,
Yes, sir.
as, I know the Democratic Party's small, the caucus is small. Are there any, if we were able to, if she shows you in the statutes of where reading those and with what he has, the lack of done based off of his own attorney's unctioning,
Right, yes, sir.
if he's not following what he's hired using taxpayers' money,
Yes, sir.
can you get enough of to hold him accountable? Like, is there enough of, if you we're able to show, are there people that would look at that and be able to at least hold him accountable that way? Would you be able to,
Okay, and so.
and if statutorily if he's not following what he should be,
Right.
and you read it the same way that Otter reads it, can you get enough to impeach or hold him accountable or whatever the terminology is?
They're elected, say is willful neglect of duty. He was
Okay.
called to a meeting by attorneys where the Oklahoma House of Representatives attorneys showed up. He refused to come to that meeting. He
Okay.
refused to follow direction from that meeting.
Uh-huh.
He has refused to follow direction from the council that the state of Oklahoma has represented him on.
Mhm.
That is willful neglect of duty, and he should be removed from his seat. And
Okay.
to bring that to light to Oklahomans and other legislators in the Senate and in the House, that needs to be brought to light.
Okay. And so,
And
Is
no
there a
one
way-
should be standing in the way for that. It's part of our democracy. It's part of our checks and balances.
all right,
And he
Yeah.
has a duty to Oklahomans and to this building.
right. So the email wasn't sent to me. And so the
Right.
email was sent to another attorney. And so, and that attorney is part of the disability, what?
Oklahoma Disability Law Center.
Okay, and so they're advocates for this community, then why hasn't he publicized or made public the email? And why hasn't he done these things? If that's the mission of their organization.
Their mission of their organization is a federal, it's our federal tax dollars pays for the Oklahoma Disability Law Center.
Great.
To represent Max and Amber
Good.
when their federal rights are being
And
transferred.
so why haven't they filed a lawsuit?
They don't have the manpower to file a lawsuit.
Okay, well, that's their
Yeah,
purpose, right? And so that's their purpose. Why haven't they made public the email where the attorney could
They
bring
don't have the manpower.
all they gotta do is call a news station,
Education.
right?
Well, we can ask them to do that. Do I
Right.
need to ask them to do that?
I'm not directing
Would
it.
you-
I'm here to help you.
Do
but
you
I'm-
think
I'm
that
not-
would-
I'm not in charge. And so.
Would
so-
that unction, so
Yes, sir.
you have at least a thumb on the pulse of, if that became public, would there be Republican senators that would come and bring this, do you think that would, how is the pulse on the House, or on the Senate side? Would they rally around that and say, hey, this needs to be corrected and hold him accountable at that point if it became public?
We have more sensible legislators in the building than non-sensible.
Well,
And I'm
and
asking
so
for
it's.
sensible
I was asking him that have, I mean, he actually, these are his peers.
No, you work the halls, you knock the doors, you know, she's right.
Yeah, okay.
And so I would tend to think there are more reasonable people than others, but this place is hierarchical,
Right.
and they've elected a leader. And so typically, whenever they elect a leader, their intent is to follow that leader, right? And so I'll speak
Even though they're
candidly about
breaking
you.
the law, he's breaking the law.
I think that when you have a caucus, they're pretty loyal to their leader. And so I believe that as far as the public facilities and everything else, it probably is a violation of federal law. And so I think you're probably right. And so if Senator Treat hires an attorney for the Senate to be able to give him legal advice, I believe, for better or for worse, even if it's not in his best interest, he can either follow that advice or he can ignore it. And so it seems like if that's the advice that he's been given, and so you say you have an email that says that, I have no reason to doubt you, then he has chosen to ignore that advice. So as a result, the remedy, the thing is to file a lawsuit. And I know that you're working hard, and it's hard to be able to get the money together, it's hard to be able to do all these other things. Here, just 1 second, so it's my 11:30,
You're 11:30.
and so,
Okay.
hey, how are you?
So, Mama.
They're good, aren't they?
Yeah.
We'll go have lunch together right after this.
And now we're going.
We're gonna go eat after this.
Mhm.
Senate office.
How
work that out. Okay, I'm sorry.
Representative Rosecrans fixed 1038. It was introduced as the transportation bill again, because Representative Mickey Dollins didn't hand it off, right?
Okay, well, I don't know anything going on over there.
Well, he made a really bad decision. I told him to stop doing something, and he refused to stop, and then when I finally said stop, he
Okay,
didn't like me telling him no on a personal issue,
okay, well,
and then he
Yes.
chose the
Beyond-
bill.
beyond-
That's, he can't do nothing about that.
and so,
I'm asking everybody to remember the integrity that this office demands for Oklahoma.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
what I'm asking for.
I've been nothing but honest and transparent with you since the beginning. And so when you spoke to me on Friday, thought I was respectful and I answered your questions and we were able to discuss it respectfully.
You laughed at me whenever I asked you, smiled and laughed at me whenever I asked you to hold him accountable, and that set me off, and I apologize
It's okay.
for my harsh words. I come
No,
across
no,
very
I'm-
direct.
You
I
do,
love
and
this
that's
kid,
okay.
and you know we're gonna
And I
be here.
know you not only love that kid, but you love the community that you
Yes, I
advocate
do.
for. And
Very
so
much.
if I smiled or something, I apologize. It wasn't because I thought it was funny, but I think it caught me off guard because I felt that I had everything that, like I said, everything that that you've asked me to do. You've asked me to author the bill twice. I've agreed. You to be the Senate author. You've asked me to go talk to Treat. I've done it. I'm happy to be able to bring it up to my caucus again. All these
I'm
things
gonna start a group
all these
text.
things that I can do, I'm happy to.
No.
If there are things that are beyond my scope or beyond my reach as a senator, because they just are, I'm happy to tell you what the lay of the land is and how to maybe be able to get there. But at this point, like I said, I'm happy to talk to him again. Get an appointment
It
with
is
him and
not
see.
beyond your scope to go talk to him and say, why are you
You've
not
not asked me
following
to do it
direction?
again. I will.
I
If
want
you're
you to.
asking, then I will.
Mhm.
But the thing is, and I don't mean this in a pejorative or an offensive way, I mean, I can talk to him again, and if you tell me that this time you don't wanna talk about litigation, that's fine too. Or if you want me to, I'm concerned that if we can't go with the same threat over and over again,
Right, and not have
We
police.
don't do it.
Yeah, you
No,
can't.
we're
then
just
people
gonna hold
take
him
you less
accountable for
seriously.
his actions. Hold him accountable for his actions.
okay,
Say, why didn't you go to the meeting that was called for 2 years ago?
right,
Why haven't you done that? Why did it take so long? Whenever we came up here with the Boy Scout troop and 45 young people, we were separated and we were told to go to the bathroom by a sergeant at arms. And I changed him out in the parking lot 2 months after the temporary accommodations
Yes,
were made by 5 attorneys. Ask him that.
okay,
Ask him why he subjected a child to that.
right,
Ask him why he's not following the direction of his own attorney that Oklahomans have paid for. Those are the questions I'd like you to ask.
okay, well, and so, why he didn't attend the meeting 2 years ago?
Yes.
Okay.
Or send representation. There was nobody on the Senate side that was, and that was between the,
Oklahoma
be
City
the
Law
law
Center,
center.
the House of Representatives Council. Nobody was at that meeting,
from the Senate side.
and no one responded to their emails
Okay,
regarding that meeting.
right, and so, I can ask him, I don't know, he'll answer, I can't force him to answer, right? And so you talk about holding him accountable, I don't mind asking him the question. If I get answers or no answers, I'm happy to come back and tell you. But there's not so like for us, right, as senators, to be able to use a portion of the capital to be able to do anything, we have to go through everybody, just like everybody else, to be able to reserve it. And so there's not like a committee, like buildings and grounds or something like that.
There should be.
And I don't get to make the committees. You know who gets to make the committees?
The
Greg
building.
Treat. And so I'm not smiling or laughing at you, but I'm just telling you the way that when I bang my head against the walls that I bang my head against every day.
It needs to be brought up to the it needs to be brought up in the chamber to all people and say, my constituents, and
Okay.
that my constituent and his federal rights in this building are
And-
being trampled on. And
So-
I would like to talk about
But
it.
they control what happens on the floor, as far as like
So
they,
in the chamber, to be able to say something, we need a bill, right? And so we don't have a bill. We don't have it as part of what's on the agenda
Can
for.
you ask Rosina if he's gonna kill the bill if it goes to his committee again?
Sure, I can
Well,
ask him. I
well,
don't know
let-
whether he'll tell me or not. But I can ask
I think that's jumping ahead of the game. We first
Also,
gotta get
if
it
he
to the House
supports
first.
Max's law this year. I'd like to know if he supports it this year or not.
Okay, well, I'll ask you because you're my constituent. You can also
Yeah,
ask
it's
him.
an important issue when I'm on the doors too.
I understand. No, I think like I said, your mission, I support your mission. and I understand that you're a strong advocate, and I think that's what
No,
this issue
when they
is.
direct him to the floor, they're directing me to the floor.
Okay.
Would you like to be directed to the floor, even if Paycom Center?
No, I would not.
Have you
So-
seen any of my YouTube channel videos?
I'm not.
Maybe check it out one day when you're real cool.
I try and avoid YouTube. I apologize, but
Well,
I got
educate
too
you
much
on what our
going on.
life is like.
Huh?
It might educate you on what our life is like and why I'm so passionate about this.
No, I understand.
This is,
Or
You know what?
Or being given a cup and saying, you know, sorry, you can't
This
get
is
into
Audra.
install it, here's the cup, why don't you
I'm on from Mike Hall with Crazy Horse Memorial.
hi, nice to meet you. I'm actually in a meeting with Senator Michael Brooks.
It gets to.
Okay, I will call you later.
Okay, thank you. I'll call you right back.
who's that?
Crazy Horse Foundation.
Oh, I don't
Are you
know.
familiar with the Crazy Horse Memorial?
Up in,
Up in, yeah.
They're cutting a table.
Oh, nice, good. You're doing good work.
So is Yellowstone National Park
Good.
and Mount Rushmore. And how can I get tables in those places but not here? Because of all the games.
I'm not playing any
And
games
this
with
is
you.
my
he
life.
understands.
This is my life. I've been in counseling for 2 years over this.
I know. All right, I didn't know that, but I believe it.
Yeah.
And I understand.
It's a war and a half. You look at my hair from 2 years ago, my pictures, you ask my kids how much time I spend on this. And it should have passed in 2020.
He's on
We
the
are
same
real
time.
people.
Yes, you are.
And
All
I
of
need
you.
you to be brave and go in there with your caucus and say, this needs our attention.
Okay.
And you put your party politics aside and remember the people.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I'll
all
do
I'm
those
asking.
things. I've got my marching orders. I've got 3 things.
Yes.
You want me to talk to Treat, ask him a couple the questions I was able to get down about it, and about the advice of counsel and why he hadn't been to different meetings, especially the one 2 years ago, but the other things that have happened. You want me to ask Rosino whether or not he supports the law or not, because my constituent is the one who's requesting it, and I'm the Senate office. So that seems like something I should do. And then to be able to talk to my caucus about it, which I'm God, whatever, but no, I can definitely do that as well. I was going to tell you what my title is, but it doesn't matter.
We're gonna leave here and go to the Oliver Hodge building.
Okay,
And the people in that building are direct Max and I before and I'm filing ADA agreements today on that building.
go get them. Go get them.
There's 141 buildings in the state of Max's law.
Go get them.
I shouldn't have to go building by building anymore.
I understand, and so you have my support. I've signed on to be your
Maybe
Senate
ask
officer.
Rosina if he'll be the co-author. Would that help?
I can ask you all sorts of things all day long, but whether or not he will or not, it's up to him.
He just
I
was
can only
nominated as
do-
Disability Rights Advocate of the Year.
Okay, well, good. Well, hold him accountable.
Ask him about that.
Okay, I will, but it's, I mean, I can only do what I can do. I can't make Treat do something that Treat doesn't wanna do. I can advocate, but I can't make Rosino do something that Rosino doesn't want to do.
Is there something that we can do that we're not doing that would be better advocacy for this issue?
I think some of the mentions on social media probably don't help. And so I'll be honest with you. And so talking to Senator Treat before and some of those things, I think
I've had
if
four.
you approach things in a confrontational way, people become defensive. If you approach people in a persuasive way, and I understand how frustrating it is for you, and how hard you've worked. But I'm just telling you that it takes a lot of patience, and it can be very, very frustrating. And so I'm
I've
in
had
the midst of the
attorneys
same thing.
encourage me to publicly shame them that that's the only way I'm gonna get this done.
Who?
Okay,
The attorney we went to.
Oh, the one
said,
over,
okay, that's,
that,
well,
okay, I forgot about that guy.
Publicly shame him.
that's not something that I think would be effective, but you
Nothing
can
else
get
has been
advice from
effective?
all sorts of different
I
people.
think it's, you know, it's frustrating when you've been fighting this, an issue your entire life,
Yes,
in
ma'am.
my, you know, in my
Right.
case. And, you know, it's to a point where, you know, we're in 2023 and we should be having different, if these conversations aren't happening, then we need to figure out how to have different conversations and figure out how to get things done. Because it's a conversation for you guys and it's a bill, but it's our life. This is stuff that we deal with on a daily, sometimes many times a day. And it does, it gets frustrating and it is very emotional for us, and so it's hard
Right.
not to feel those, yeah.
Can I give a suggestion? And I don't wanna offend you, okay, at all, cause I know how hard and how much time you put into this.
5 years.
I understand.
When
But-
32 other buildings in this city,
Yeah.
it is no brainer, they do it within months.
Right. And so you have been the person who's brought this to the attention. You're the person who probably has been able to get this done in 32 other places. But you're also the person that this has eaten you up so much. And I
Yeah.
tell you this respectfully, that you've been in 2 years worth of counseling because of this. It might be, just from my perspective, as a legislator and someone who you've mentioned and all these other things, it might be persuasive to let you be the public face and the voice instead of you. And I say that, I don't mean that in an ugly way, because I know that you're the pioneer who did it, right? And has made this an issue. But I'm just talking because what I do for a living, right? When I'm not here at the Capitol, is I persuade people, right? And so whatever, it's okay. It just meant the cookie was good. And so what I do here is I try and persuade people because it's the way that I'm able to get them. And so I think that the limits of your persuasion at this point, I mean, I think there are limits to your ability to persuade. And so if the strategy is to confront, I think you're the perfect person to do this. If you wanna try and mend some bridges, build some bridges, and perhaps to be able to have another conversation. Sometimes you need a pioneer, and sometimes it takes multiple people, pulling on the same rope to be able to do it. And so I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I mean it in a sincere way, because
It's something that's gonna take a group of people in
But-
different ways of
But-
communicating,
So-
different faces,
Yes,
deal
ma'am.
with different ways.
But at this point, your approach is probably perhaps at least more effective with me and maybe other people than confrontation, right? For you to be able to talk from your heart, that touches other people's hearts. If you talk from a position of anger or frustration,
I
then
talked from my heart for 2 years.
and
So I
it may
had to
not
get
work.
attorneys.
I'm just telling you what I
Yeah.
do to be able to help.
Yeah.
And
I
so
talked from my heart
no,
for 2 years.
I'm not in charge. I'm just telling you, I'm trying to be helpful. I promise.
And giving us a different view of maybe a different
And
way
so-
of going
And
about it.
So
Basically, we've been fighting it this way for so long, maybe it's time to regroup and come up with different words, and maybe you and I together,
Right.
because we've just been maybe, because people communicate, people hear things differently,
right,
and I'm not gonna be saying anything that you're not been saying,
but
and I'm not feeling anything that you've not been feeling
Right.
but maybe we can figure out a way for both of us to do this.
and that's my opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion's probably worth nothing.
No,
But that's my opinion. And so
I have filed 4 ADA grievances on this building. A
Okay.
complaint with the United States Justice Department,
Good.
an appeal.
Yes,
Brenda
ma'am.
Goolsby filed a complaint with the United States Justice Department after that nurse down there asked her where her son's urine was.
Okay.
And as she was directed to go carry that bag of urine to the restroom next door.
Yes, ma'am. And so
Ongoing, continuous discrimination against my son in this building,
yes, ma'am.
and it falling on deaf ears.
Okay. I don't think when you started 4 years ago, it fell on deaf ears, but I think at some point, the
When I filed my ADA
tenor
grievance.
and the tone of I guess the discussion changed. And so I'm just telling you what my experience is. And so I think sometimes you get people who are senators and they think they're gonna change the whole world and they get up here and they're gonna do everything. Whenever I ran for office, I did not say that, because I didn't have any illusions that this is a body of 48 people and I'm gonna be in the minority. And so when people said, well, your campaign speech, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna get up there for a year, try and figure out how this place works, and figure out what it is that I can do to be effective for my constituents. And so, what you've done has been amazing. What you tell me touches my heart, okay? And what you tell me makes me angry, right? Not angry at you, but angry for the
I'm
situation.
very angry.
You should be, and you have
I've
every
had
right to
people
be,
in
but
this
whether or not
building,
that's
even
the
after
effective
attorneys
way.
have said, put a stop to it, I have had people in this building that direct me
And so,
and my friends and Miss Oklahoma USA to the
Right,
floor in the
right.
bathroom in this building.
yes,
And it's
ma'am.
embarrassing.
What, okay.
It is
Mm.
embarrassing.
It's not for me to say because I'm not there. And so,
Why don't you join me sometime?
well, I don't know that that's appropriate, but
Go down and experience it. Go ask for a key at the guard station with your daughter. See
okay.
how embarrassing that is for your daughter. Would you put her through that?
If I had to, I would, but I don't
You should
know.
never have to do that in America. You
Well,
have equal access and participation laws under the ADA, right?
and so you filed all the different things to be able to do that, and you filed appeals.
And one man in this building acts as a roadblock.
Okay, and
It's,
so,
it's disgraceful.
well, and so I am here as your senator, willing to be able to carry these questions and bring this issue up as you've asked me to do, because those are things that I can do. Okay? And so I've never shut you out. I've never, I don't, and when you've asked me to do things that I can do, I've done them. And so, the situation is that is the tone of the debate is confrontational. My perspective, it's probably going to be less successful. If it's from the heart
Well, that's
and
their,
it's persuasive, I think that tends to turn better dividends.
I believe that politicians and their pride are getting in the way of what's best for the Oklahoma people.
Okay. I think that hopefully you don't mean me, because I got no pride and no
No,
ego in this matter.
No, but those who oppose.
And I only laugh just because some might do, but I'm not laughing at you about that, but I want to help, right?
Trey
You-
Rosino, these people, their pride is getting in the way
Right,
over the betterment of the people and his federal rights in this building.
right. They're federal rights, there should be state rights, but if you take it up with the federal government, I don't know, you know?
Yeah,
but
I'm
maybe
in
it's-
communication with Mark Greenwald.
Get it,
Yeah.
whatever you want to do, I support it. And so, like I said, there are limits to what I can do. But when there are things that you suggest that I can do, or we discuss things and we come up with things that I can do, I'll do them. Okay?
Thank you.
No, of course. This is
Do you-
a good issue, but sometimes when things become bitter, good issues get tarnished as a result.
Because of political pride,
I
they're putting their
understand.
own
But-
personal issues
But if
in front of what's good for the people. And because I'm not gonna be this blame shifting of holding people accountable,
if we point fingers, people get defensive. And-
I'm
and
not
then-
allowing y'all to point fingers at me.
I'm not
Well,
pointing fingers at you, I'm
myself.
suggesting that
Federal
you're
rights
pointing
be
fingers
upheld
at
in this
people
building.
and it's making
Yeah.
them defensive.
Them defensive.
That's
what
their
it-
own problem. They need to deal with that on themselves. It has
Well-
nothing to do with me.
But you're-
I'd like to try and, to approach this where we get a positive result. And so to be able to approach it practically, to be able to see what gives us the best chance of success is my experience. Because if we insist on doing it in a way that by all indications won't turn positive results, then where do we stand? We stand here, you know, either pointing the fingers at each other, pointing the fingers one way or the other. You know, maybe people are pointing the finger at you because they're mad and frustrated that you called them out on social media.
Or
right?
no,
Right.
everyone else does.
Exactly.
Everyone
But-
else can go
but-
and
but-
call people out on social
but
media.
if there's finger pointing going back and forth, we got no positive discussion about fixing it.
I'm not taking any kind of accountability for,
I'm not,
for calling
you have
people out on
advocated
their.
to the best of your ability and you've done
Yes.
an amazing job. And so I'm not trying to be critical of what you've done. But sometimes, so for me, one of my early, and this may not be exactly right or exactly on point, but one of the very first mentors that I had, right, whenever I was coming up as an attorney and involved in different community issues and stuff like that, was a lady named Pat Fennell, who was on the south side of Oklahoma City, and so she was a fierce advocate for Latino rights, right? And so she basically took me on as a mentor, as a mentee, and so she took me to meetings where she was meeting with Gary Ridley from the Department of Transportation, because they were getting ready to put in the new highway right there on the south side, right? And the new I-40. And so I got to go to all these meetings, and I was like 24, 25 years old, and my eyes are about this big. And so the thing is that I served as board chair of her nonprofit probably for about 10 years. but at the end, she was so strong and had fought so many battles that she had almost become conditioned. When something happened, it was immediately a fight. And then the other thing was that she burned a lot, I mean, all in the interest and the good heart, you know, to be able to help her community and make things better for them. But she burned a lot of bridges. And so at some point, I had a serious conversation with her where I was like, Pat, you have been the hero for the Latino community. It's time to retire. You've burnt too many bridges over the time. And I'm not suggesting this to you. You make your own decisions what you want to do and how you want to do it. But, and because you're the pioneer who did it, same as her. And so I feel like the situation is that and I'm not suggesting that you retire by any stretch of the imagination, but to be able to, and it's okay.
When
do what you
Rosina
want to
killed
do.
that bill, we went to Seattle and back, and we stopped at the Blackwell Visitor Center,
Yeah,
and I had to change him in the parking lot.
yes ma'am. And so,
If I can file an ADA grievance with ODOT and they change, all of our visitor centers are getting
right. I think-
tables now. Because I spent 68 hours, you take time of your notes and you're spending your time on your legal fees.
No, I
spent
don't.
68, you don't,
I'm
don't
still
keep
flat
track?
fees. Anyway, but
Okay,
it's
I-
okay. But no, I understand what you're
68
talking
hours of my time with ODOT.
about. Okay. And so the thing is,
Because Senator Rosina wouldn't hear the bill.
I think sometimes strong advocates have a shelf life, and then at some point, you know, there's bad blood or there's been too many bridges burned. There's different things
I'm
that
gonna
have
get
happened.
him unseated.
Oh,
Well,
get it. Do it. If that's your strategy and that's what you decide to do, that's fine. But I don't think that it's fair for you to expect me to be able to do some of those things as well. But wherever I can help, I
No, it
will.
is your
I will try to-
responsibility as senator to go in and inspect that the laws be followed in this building.
I've got my
Okay.
3 marching orders,
And I
my
want
3
you to
people to
remember,
talk
it
to.
took me 68 hours filing an ADA grievance with ODOT
Okay,
because Senator Rosina wouldn't hear that bill.
okay. And so.
And I'm your constituent.
Yes, you are. You're here from my office. I'm talking to you. We're seeing where I can help in this situation. All right? And so something to think about. And so, like I said, you've been amazing. You've been amazing since the first time you walked in my office. But at some point, you can't. I mean, I understand the mission and how strongly you believe in it. But you can't let it eat you up because that doesn't help you, and it doesn't help Max, and it doesn't help anybody else.
Everywhere we go, people direct us to the foreign restaurants.
I understand, and I understand how, I've never felt it, but I understand how you feel. I believe you, and I think that's wrong. And so the thing is, at some point, do you, I guess I'm saying the same thing
If
over
you're
and
asking
over.
me if I'm gonna give up, I just started in Congress.
Okay, get it.
And he's not saying not to do that, but he's also saying that maybe that Amber can be the focal point of getting it done here at the state level. If you want to continue doing that, that maybe you're falling on deaf ears, and he's hearing you. He's never said that he's not.
I'm fighting, I'm
Okay.
this, I'm here with you, I'm willing to do whatever I need to
Senator
do.
Kurt.
Right.
She represented by Senator Kurt.
Okay, Senator Kurt's a good person, she
Yes,
supported.
Yes.
And so, like I said, just a little bit, so I've got my marching orders. I've tried to give you whatever, I've been in this building for 5 years, whatever advice that I can offer, as far as what I think might get you where you want to be. And I'm happy to help any way that I can. So, other than that, I don't know.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And so, it's good to see you. Alright, well, like I said, I'll get on these 3 things and I'll report back to you. And so it probably won't be today. It takes me a while to be able to get a meeting with Senator Treat. I feel fully confident he'll give me another meeting. We'll discuss it. I'll ask him the questions that you've suggested, and then either he'll answer them or he won't. But as your senator, I will do it. I'll reach out to Rosino as well, and I will reach out. I will bring it up and put it on the agenda for the Democratic caucus. Okay.
Can you invite me to that meeting?
At the caucus?
It's a private meeting.
Yeah, it's a
Is
private
there any
meeting.
kind of meeting that you could call to invite me to a meeting so I could talk to everybody?
Yeah, let me see, let me ask the caucus chair, I'm not the chair, and so he's the one who runs the meeting.
Who's the chair?
Senator Matthews,
Okay.
just down the hall.
I
But
would like
any-
to come speak with you all.
Okay, all right, well, and so we can see, and so, we can see about that. I can ask, I'll ask Matthews about that, okay?
Okay?
Anything else?
No.
Okay, no, you're done.
Hey, thanks for supporting Max as well.
Thanks.
Thanks, you're welcome, it's good to see you, it's been a while, all right? Yeah? And so,
Later.
see you later, all
Thank
right,
you so much.
my pleasure, man.
And I took your card. My name's Amber Lovelady, by the way. I said my name earlier. I don't know if I said my last name.
That's okay, well, it's good to see you.
Mama, can I take
I
some of
appreciate
this?
it, no, I appreciate it very much.
A card? Should
Thank
I
you.
take a card?
Oh, did I ever say my
What we
name?
got?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm Gabe.
Gabe?
Yeah, Gabe.
Gabriel?
Yeah, Gabriel.
Nice to meet you, Gabriel. Michael Brooks.
Should I get a pill or not?
Yeah, you can hold
Just
on
take
to
one.
it.
Just
Yeah.
take one.
All right.
Okay.
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 Okay. Can you put that in your pocket?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I
No
will
worries. You'll be all right.
see you later.
See, can,
Oh,
can I
you
shake
went-
your hand?
There you go.
Awesome.
Oh, the other
Here,
way.
I'm
There we go.
left-handed too. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
He's a little bit ambidextrous.
Really? My pleasure. Take care. All right. Appreciate you guys so much.
All right.
Bye-bye. Ah, I just dropped my card. Dropped my card.
Uh-oh. You're gonna put it in your backpack?
No.
Okay, you wanna hold it? Okay. All right, thank you.
Do you want to be the first?
I'll do whatever you want me to do. I will do this. Hey, no, hey.
Matt, come here.
Wake up.
Where are you going?
I thought we were.
That's a
pretty cool getup.
Yeah.
Is it fun to drive around?
Maybe if you and I sit back together and figure out another way of saying what we're saying, it'll somebody will do it.
Where now? Where now?
Okay, here you go.
Sit.
Let's switch back.
No, I don't want to.
What's up, Chad? How you doing? Doing all right. Huh? Chad Alexander.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Your mom can take a picture of you over here. I've never been. Hello. What bill?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? I know you gotta go.
Hey! Daddy, what's wrong with me?